Welcome to NFL Daily by Chat Sports. No, it's not Tom Downey, Jack Sparrow, or Tyler Jones. It's Nic Rohloff. And on today's show, we're talking some Davante Adams trade destinations. And you might be thinking, well, why would Davante Adams be traded? Well, there really makes no sense from the Raiders' perspective unless Davante Adams asks out, which maybe there's some friction in Las Vegas because after the Week 3 loss at home in their debut this season in Las Vegas to the Carolina Panthers and that Red Rocket Andy Dalton, there was some chaos, as there always is, surrounding the Raiders organization. Antonio Pierce, their head coach, called out some of their players, saying that as the game went on, I think there was definitely some individuals that made business decisions and will make business decisions going forward as well as a team. And a lot of people are like, whoa, why is he calling out the team in Week 3? It's a little early for that, AP, don't you think? Well, maybe not, maybe it is. But a lot of people speculated it could be about the wide receiver Davante Adams and his lack of want to block in the run game. Well, Adams kind of responded the next day saying, I feel like I don't know. This is tough for me to identify that. I'm not sure. But either way, there could be some trade rumors in Las Vegas coming on the way. And before we get into the top 5 destinations, let me know, will Davante Adams be traded this year? Type T if you think he gets traded. Type K if you think he gets kept by Las Vegas. You'd understand them wanting to keep him. He's simply still a top 10 wide receiver in all football, even though he's pushing 32, 33 years old. He's been decent through 3 games, putting up 209 yards and a score. That's also not a pass-happy offense. They like to run the football, and with Gardner Minshew still QB1 in Las Vegas, it's not the best passing attack. But we've seen throughout his career, and specifically over the last 4 seasons, when he's been undoubtedly a top 3, top 5 wide receiver in football, I'd probably have him as my number 3 right now behind just simply Tyreek Hill and Justin Jefferson. Adams has been really, really good. You see the numbers. I don't really got to talk about him. Consistently double-digit touchdowns, consistently over 1,300 yards. He is one of the best wide receivers in football, which means if he's on the trade market, a lot of teams could be calling. And the first destination we'll talk about, and the 5th most likely in my opinion, is the New Orleans Saints. They come in at 5th on my list. And you might be saying, well, why the Saints? And you might be wondering, well, that's a dumb question for me to even ask you that. Of course the Saints should be on this list. Derek Carr is the quarterback for New Orleans, who they were teammates in Las Vegas before he got booted and ultimately went to the New Orleans Saints. Derek Carr and Davante Adams are best friends. They were teammates at Fresno State at college. Davante Adams requested a trade from Green Bay to get to Vegas to play with Derek Carr and to be paid. And it ultimately makes a lot of sense potentially for New Orleans if they wanted to go all in on this season. They do not have a good wide receiver core outside of Chris Olave. Rashid Shaheed's been a revelation for them in their deep threat and their speed guy on the outside. But outside of Olave, they don't really have a true route running guy to beat you over the middle of the field. And I think it would benefit potentially New Orleans to go out and get Davante Adams. If it didn't cost them that much, a wide receiver room of Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, and Davante Adams with that new offense that Click Kubiak's got rolling, Derek Carr looking great, Alvin Kamara playing good in the backfield. This could be an offense that is top 3 in all of football if they add Davante Adams. If they continue to stack some wins, wouldn't shock me if they went all in at the trade deadline if Davante Adams was available. Number 4 is the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, is it likely that this happens? No, but in terms of the best fits, the Chiefs certainly are up there. With Marquise Hollywood Brown out, the Chiefs may look for a wide receiver too, because Rashee Rice has been unbelievable so far. The second-year guy out of SMU who has just been a revelation for them in their own right. But they drafted Xavier Worthy in the first round, and to me, he's actually very similar at this stage of their careers to Rashid Shaheed. He can't really do anything outside of beat you with their speed and in these gadget fancy plays that Andy Reid likes to work up. And with Rashee Rice being a slot guy for the most part right now, Travis Kelce looking a little bit older, maybe they want to get an X receiver like Davante Adams. Now, granted, I don't think it would ever happen because even if Kansas City gave Las Vegas the best trade offer for Davante Adams, I don't see a world where they would send him inside the division, specifically to their biggest rival in the Kansas City Chiefs, not only for football reasons, well, for the fan base. I don't know if the fan base would ever recover from Davante Adams heading to Kansas City. But make sure you are subscribed to the channel, because if Adams ever does get dealt, we'll have you covered with everything you need to know about the NFL. Make sure you're subscribed, because we have a great staff here at Chat Sports to make sure you're locked in. Like I mentioned off the top, I may be coming into more of this, but you'll still see a lot of Tom Downey, Tyler Jones, and Jack Sperry. All right, number 3 coming up here, the Buffalo Bills, and this is a fun one. They have been playing some excellent football through 3 weeks, and it's without a top wide receiver. Stefon Diggs, Gabe Davis both left in the offseason. They drafted Keon Coleman to begin the second round. They added Matt Collins in free agency, as well as Marquez Valdes-Scantling, but Khalil Shakir has been their top guy, and we still yet to see Matt Collins and Keon Coleman break out in any big way, but it is fascinating to me to see how they have played so well. Josh Allen may very well be the front runner for NFL MVP, and they are rolling through 3 weeks. Could they get a bona fide wide receiver 1 in Tay Adams if he became available? That would make that offense even more lethal, and it might even put them as the favorites to come out of the AFC. Right now, I think they're sitting just behind Kansas City. All right, we got 2 more trade destinations to talk about, but I want to make sure you're hooked up, because there's a great deal right now at chatsports.com/jersey deal where you can get any jersey from your favorite team for $99 or less. Whether you are a Chiefs fan, a Bills fan, it doesn't matter if you're a kid, in the youth, the woman jerseys, men's jersey, don't matter. Your favorite teams, your favorite players right now on sale for $99.99 or less at chatsports.com/jersey deal. That link will be in the description and comments of today's video. So if you want to get a special someone something, or even get yourself a jersey, you know where to get it. All right, number 2 on the Davante Adams destinations is the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I think this one might be the most fun if you're talking about pure fit. The Steelers were this entire offseason linked to Brandon Ayuk as the top potential trade destination for the star wide receiver. Well, he ultimately signed a long-term deal with the San Francisco 49ers, which honestly hasn't worked out for them so far. But either way, the need for an addition to the Steelers wide receiver room is still there. George Pickens has been good. Calvin Austin has honestly made some plays. But Van Jefferson and Calvin Austin being your 2 wide receivers behind George Pickens, well, that's not very opportunistic for them. And with how well they are playing excellent football. They are 3-0 with Justin Fields. Now, they have played some bad teams in the Los Angeles Chargers, the Denver Broncos, and the Falcons in Week 1, with Kirk Cousins looking absolutely cooked. But you can't deny how well they have played. And if they continue to stack some wins and Davante Adams becomes available, they become the most logical destination, in my opinion, because they need him likely the most if they want to get another notch up there in terms of contenders in the AFC. Let me know, though, what is the top Adams trade destination? We're going to get into the number 1 most likely in my book coming up in a second. My top destination is probably the Steelers, but let me know yours down below. Well, the number 1 team we have to talk about here, no shock, is the New York Jets. And even though that I don't think it would be the best fit, they have to be number 1 on this list, because if you look at the odds makers of next team if traded, they are the clear-cut favorites, and they probably should be, right? Same reason why the Saints cracked this list. Just think about the quarterback who is on this team. It's Aaron Rodgers, who Davante Adams began his career with. And these two were the potential, and you can make this argument, as the best quarterback wide receiver duo in the late 2010s. They were absolutely terrific. It's when Tay consistently scored 10-plus touchdowns and 1,500 yards every single season. This was the best duo in football for a nice stretch of the NFL. Could they reunite in New York? Imagine an offense of Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, Davante Adams, Mike Williams. It would be absolutely ridiculous. And if they're able to stay healthy and add Davante Adams, well, that's a team that could absolutely compete in the AFC. All right, that's going to do it for today's show. Like I said, mention what team you think should trade for Davante Adams down in the comments section. But also stay subscribed, because we're going to have you covered on a daily basis with everything in the sports world. Not just the NFL, but the NBA, WNBA, as those roll on as well. So make sure you hit that sub button.